Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. This is Lizard's Library, my channel where I read and talk about books. I'm the Lizard. Today I'm going to show you a tour of my bookshelves. Look, some rearranging was done. Some of these books do not typically reside on these shelves. They are scattered around the house because books are decor, but I thought it would be fun if I showed off all of my books on my bookshelf and specifically prioritized books that I've read. I think I've actually read most of these books, and at the end I'll give you a head count because I actually don't know how many there are. Come along with me and I'm just going to show you all of the books and tell you their names. We're going to go kind of quick because there are a lot. I'm not going to really dive into any synopses or much beyond that. I'm just gonna show you what they are and how I've arranged them. If you're type A, you're not gonna like it because once again, they're organized by the aesthetic. I live and die by the aesthetic. They're color coordinated because I think that books are decor. This bookshelf is from IKEA. I built it myself. Look how pretty they are. If I was less of a goblin, I might have actually given them a little dusting before this video, but I did not. Starting out on the top shelf, I would say that a lot of these are my favorite books. Honestly, every book on this shelf is probably up there with my favorites because I finished them. If I don't like a book, I don't typically finish them, but there are some that I'm forced to, like book club or whatever. We've got Mary Oliver Devotions. This is a collection of poetry. I adore Mary Oliver. Tara Westover, Educated, a really great memoir. If you haven't read it, you should. Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb about therapy, if you're interested. The Underground Railroad, Colson Whitehead. This is such a good book. Loved it. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. I'm obsessed with Coco Mellors and everything that she's written. Good Material by Dolly Alderton. If you'll notice, we've got some Book of the Month books on here that I took the liberty to paint and fix because I don't like their branding. Sorry. Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. This is such a flex. I found this one in a little free library and I loved this book. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. This is one of my copies of this book and the one that I painted because it was a book of the month, and I'm a crazy person. Like when I tell you I do things for the aesthetic, I do, truly. One of my favorite books, one of my favorite authors, my favorite book by one of my favorite authors. Love her dearly. Next is Intermezzo. I liked this one. I didn't love it, but I do love Sally Rooney, so I powered through, but I did really like it and it's cute on this shelf. One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, an absolute banger. Elif Bottoman, I think that's how you pronounce it. We've got Either Or and The Idiot, these two. I don't know if you can call it a series if it's just two books. It's just the book and the sequel, I guess you would say. College girl, coming of age, figuring out life as a young 20-something. Totally my vibe. Definitely Better Now. Another Book of the Month craft moment that I repainted. It's just the way that I am. I can't apologize, but this is a really good book. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. She's so pretty, even though I didn't really like it that much. Jane Austen's Emma, also just so pretty. I love pretty books. I do judge books by their cover. After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'll read anything Taylor Jenkins Reid writes. The Long Answer. It's about motherhood, pregnancy. This is a good book if you're a woman thinking about having kids. Persuasion by Jane Austen. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. Louisa May Alcott, Little Women. Also, just such a pretty cover. World of Wonders. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I really liked this book too. This top shelf is my prettiest book and also some of my favorites. Let's move on to the next shelf. This next shelf, we get into the rainbowification. Some of them are favorites and some of them just fit the color scheme. We'll start from this side because I'm here. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Emily Bronte? Charlotte Bronte? I haven't read this one, but I want to. It's on the list. Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. This is a really good memoir about writing, and I'm trying to write. Need to get on it. Wuthering Heights. I actually just finished this book this morning. Emily Bronte. This book is so weird. And what was that movie? I don't even know. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Next, we've got this blue stack here. The Girls by Emma Cline. This was my favorite book when I was 17, and I have not reread it because I'm too scared, but I adored this book. It's about a cult. Gotta love it. Anne Patchett, Bel Canto. Anne Patchett is another favorite author of mine. She's the best. Beautiful Boy by David Sheff. This is a memoir about addiction, and Timothy Chalamet and Steve Carell are in the movie. It's a good one. My second copy of Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? I want to show you this one. This is the OG cover. I love this one. I actually got this in Dublin. John Green, The Fault in Our Stars. My absolute favorite book when I was 12 years old, and I will forever leave it on my shelf. And I also reread it recently. Not recently, 6 years ago. I love John Green, and that's a hill that I will die on. Not that it's like an unpopular opinion opinion. I don't know why I said it like that. Everyone loves John Green, including me. I Am Not Myself These Days by Josh Kilmer Purcell. This is like a really funny memoir about a drag queen. Blue Horses by Mary Oliver, another poetry collection by my favorite poet, Otessa Moshfegh, My Year of Rest and Relaxation. And then Room by Emma Donoghue. This is such a good book. So sad, but so good. And like kind of dark, but so good. I really do love a dark book. Call Me By Your Name, such a gem. Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews. This is like a fun thriller kind of book. I don't like thriller books because I'm a snob and I like books to be well written. This is a really well written thriller-esque book that I really enjoyed. Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. Emily Austen is such an underappreciated author in my opinion. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about her, but all of her books are so fun and funny and thought-provoking. She's great. Rob Sheffield, Love is a Mixtape. This is also a memoir, also one of Harry Styles' favorite books, and I really liked it. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, such a good one. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, another favorite. This Is How It Always Is by Laurie Frankel. This was the best book that I read last year, and I think that it should be required reading. Rachel Joyce, Miss Benson's Beetle. This is kind of a fun beach read about two quirky female characters. Open Water, I took that literally. I did get it a little wet. She fell in a lake. I'm so sorry. This is a really good book though. Very poetic. Book Lovers, my favorite of Emily Henry's books. Adored it. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, my favorite romance of all time. The Catcher in the Rye. My serial killer trait is that this is one of my favorite books. Maybe I should reread it as like an adult with a fully developed brain, and we'll see. And then Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is another book that I really do love. A lot of people have opinions on it. My opinion is that it's good. Okay, moving right along. We've made it to the middle shelf. The first two are just like top shelf, top tier. This is where we kind of get some 3, maybe even 2 stars sprinkled in. Quick glance, none of them are 2 stars, but the quality deteriorates as we go down. So maybe that is a little bit organized, more than I thought. Still going with the rainbow theme. We've got The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, one of my all-time favorite books. Read it as a child, I've read it multiple times since. So sweet. Marlo Granado's Happy Hour. This is just another one of those fun literary books about young women that I love. Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed. I think this is my favorite book by her actually, probably better than Wild. Those should maybe be switched out potentially. Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. This is a good memoir stories. It was a decent book. Taylor Jenkins Reid, Maybe in Another Light. And then we've got the Harry Potters because these are actually my cousin's books, but my boyfriend and I are trying to reread them. It's taking us a long time. Like low key, the first 2 times that I read Harry Potter, I absolutely loved them. And this time, and maybe it's because they are children's books and I've exited childhood. I don't know. Or maybe I just like know them too well. So I'm bored. Who's to say? Okay, then we've got all these hardbacks. I don't own a lot of hardback outside of the book of the month because I do prefer a paperback. But then I look at my shelf and I like the way the hardbacks look on my shelf. But when I'm actually reading, I just love a cracked spine. I love to fold her. I love to throw it in my bag. You know what I mean? Anyway, Kristen Hanna, The Women. Such a good book. Historical fiction. I didn't think I liked historical fiction. Loved this book. We've got another book by Emily Austen. Actually, we've got 2 that like should be next to each other, but they're not because of the color code scheme. So Interesting Facts About Space and We Could Be Rats. I think We Could Be Rats is better. I loved that book. I don't really remember the space one as much, but again, she's just like a really good author. Quirky things, I'm a fan. In between those 2, we've got Jane and Dan at the End of the World. This was like a super easy, light read about a couple that I said I wasn't gonna synopsize. You can Google it. Severance by Ling Ma. The fact that this book was written before COVID is crazy to me, but it's about a pandemic. Isaac's Song. This is a really good, I think it's YA. Just a sweet book. Grief is for People. It's a memoir. Solid 3 stars. The Wedding People. I loved this book. Everyone was talking about this book last year for a reason. If you haven't read it, you should. The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Everyone was talking about that book too, and like I don't know about that one. It was fine. I think it would be a good show and or movie. Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I think that I like this one better than Cleopatra and Frankenstein, potentially. I love Coco Mellors though. Her writing is just really beautiful and relatable, contemplative. She's a good time. True Biz by Sarah Novick. Another Goodreads book that I fixed. My goal is to do this with all of Book of the Month. Do you see this? I don't really like it. Like, why do they do that? It really bothers me. I want to fix them all. I love crafting. The Compound by Aisling Roll. I loved this book. It was also really different from anything that I've read, so I thought it was super fun. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Another one that I painted. The aesthetic really matters to me, if you couldn't tell. And that's that shelf. I can't ever tell if it's in focus. Fingers crossed. Okay. If it's not, don't worry. I'm telling you what they are. This is the black and white shelf, which is a little bit cleaner. This is where I would say the quality and the redness decreases because I don't have as many black and white books. Starting over here, we've got The Women. No, we don't. We've got The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, which was arguably the worst book that I read last year. Actually, not even arguably, like it was. I didn't like it at all. Not a fun time. Running with Scissors by Augustin Burroughs. This one was fine. It's a memoir. Looking for Alaska by John Green. I love John Green. I'll say it every time I see him. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is such a good book. I actually really want to reread this. It's been a hot minute. This is such a good book. Go back. The Secret History by Donna Hart. I actually did a whole vlog where I read this book, so if you're interested, check it out. Tender as the Flesh by Augusta Bazterrica. This book was so gross. I didn't like it. Too gory. It's about cannibalism. Stephen King's Misery. This is actually a thriller book that I did enjoy, but like it's Stephen King, so. Jane Austen, Emma. This is my ugly copy of Emma, but it's also the one that I actually read. I don't think I read the pretty one. We've got Lily King, Writers and Lovers. I adore Lily King so much. Everything she writes is just like candy. Stoneyard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. This is like a weird book about a nunnery. The black ones are like kind of fitting in the theme with dark. They're all a little spooky. James Joyce, A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. I actually haven't read this book, but I did buy it in Dublin. It's on the TBR. So is Madonna in a Fur Coat. Haven't read this one either. Again, it's on here so that it would fit the black and white aesthetic. Both of these are classics, so who knows when I'll get around to them. We shall see. Two more books that I haven't read yet. Born Standing Up by Steve Martin and Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I do want to read Born Standing Up. I don't really want to read Gone Girl. I heard that the movie was better, so I'm just gonna go with that. Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. This was a really good book and I ate it up. And then Into the Wild by John Krakauer. This was so boring. Did not care for it at all. The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. Love her. Sound of Gravel by Ruth Werner. Hannah. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Sheesh. I don't even know what to say about that. Ocean Vuong. On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous. This is like such a sad book, but also very poetic and contemplative. Normal People by Sally Rooney. Love her so dearly. Connell. Never Let Me Go. I didn't love it. Timothy Keller, The Meaning of Marriage. Yeah, my sister gave this book to me and I read it because she said that it would make me want to get married like immediately, and it did not do that. Augustin Burroughs' Lust and Wonder. They're a really good memoir. It's upside down. And then When Breath Becomes Air by Paul. His name's cut off. I don't even know. And then we've got Do Not Go Gently Into That Good Night, another poetry collection by Dylan Thomas. I dabble in poetry a little bit. Last but not least, we've got the bottom shelf all the way down here. Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is also a really good Emily Henry book. John Green, love him. The Anthropocene Reviewed. I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is such a good book. The God of the Wood by Liz Moore. This is a thriller book that I thought was fine, and I usually hate thriller books, so there we go. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. Funny Story by Emily Henry. Not a fan. I really love Emily Henry's earlier books, and her most recent two were just not my favorite. But I'm gonna continue to read all of them. If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. It's upside down. It's really tight in there. I'm gonna let it stay upside down. I have not read this one, but I think it's up next on my list because I just finished reading Wuthering Heights and that was just such a downer. That was such a weird book. I need something like fun, and I think Sense and Sensibility will be that. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I think I read this book over 10 years ago and I can't really tell you much about it. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is another spooky book I could get down with. I like a spooky thriller book when they're well written. I really care more about how a book is written than what the plot or the contents are. Julia Alvarez, In the Time of the Butterflies. John Steinbeck, Of Mice and Men. Alina Bronski's Barbara Isn't Dying. Same kind of different as me. Ron Holland and Remorse. Mary Oliver, Dog Songs, another book of poetry that I love. I just love her. Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz. This is another cult book. I love a cult. Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. Another John Green book. I love John Green. Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. This was a bad book. I read it for book club. I hated it. I hated the characters. The plot was stupid. It made me mad. They're so tight in there. Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is one of my favorite books. I've read it like twice. I think I should reread it actually. It's so good. Tom Lake by Anne Patchett. Another gem. And I think I listened to the audiobook because I'm pretty sure that Tom Hanks and or Meryl Streep narrate it. I think that Tom Hanks does The Dutch House and Meryl Streep does Tom Lake. Both really good audiobooks. books. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I just read this one a month ago and it was so good. I can't believe it's been sitting on my shelf for like years and I haven't read it, but I was so glad that I did. This is just a coming of age modern classic that I really enjoyed. Beach Read, another painted book of the month, another Emily Henry that I actually like. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, another favorite. This was such a good one. I read it in like 3 days. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Have not read it. I've read about 30 plus chapters of it. I was trying to do a year of reading War and Peace in 2026. There's like a trend where people will read a chapter a day over the course of a year. And like, I really liked the idea of that because it made it seem really approachable and bite-sized. But I find with classic books that they just require a little bit more attention, obviously. And anytime I would read a chapter, I don't know, it didn't seem beneficial for me to be reading one chapter every day because it sort of requires a little bit of thought to like actually get into it, if that makes sense. So I would start reading and I'd kind of be like, wait, what's going on? And I'd be like, okay, we're focusing, we're in it. And I would like get in it and it would start to be a little bit easier to read and then the chapter would be over. So I don't know. I do want to read War and Peace this year, but the chapter a day method wasn't working for me. So I need to reevaluate because it's now March and I have not read it since early February. And then tucked away in that little corner over there, we've got Lunch Poems by Frank O'Hara. And that is yet another poetry collection because she dabbles in poetry. Okay, and then if you look over here, I just have a giant stack of books that didn't quite fit on the shelf post reorganization. And that's because these are all books that I have not yet read. These are my TBRs. And I actually just filmed a video where I went through all of my to be read books. So I'm not gonna go through those now because I don't want to. All right. We're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 22 on the top shelf. I lost count. 6, 7, 27, 21. What were we at? 21 plus 49. I'm bad at math. That doesn't make sense. We're gonna start over. So I own a total of 157 books. Solid collection. I'm feeling like there might be an unhaul coming soon to a Lizard's Library channel near you. Comment actually of the books what you think I should unhaul. This was fun. Thanks for watching. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.